Tat Sat. Welcome to Gyan Bhakti. We are currently exploring the scripture Mysticism of Srimad Bhagavatam. Commentaries by my worshipful Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayananda Ji Maharaj, narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilanand. So currently we are studying the divine melody of Krishna's flute, and yesterday we enjoyed the Gopi Geet, the song, the melody of the feelings of the cowherd girls, gopis. So today we will continue to explore Lord Krishna's mystic flute and the meaning. Srimad Bhagavatam represents a sublime and profoundly beautiful portrayal of the glory of divine love, as it paints a mystic portrait of the interactions of the gopis, cowherd maidens of Vrija, with their beloved Krishna. All of the women folk of the village, regardless of age and class, had been extremely enchanted with Krishna since the time he was just a remarkable baby and then a small child, stealing their best butter as soon as it was churned. Krishna means attraction. So from the very beginning, everybody was attracted to his divine form. Of course, he was divinity in a human embodiment. So that is why the attraction was even more overpowering. That enchantment continued to grow more and more as Krishna grew to be a youth, playing his melodious flute in the forest of Vrindavana. Every day when Krishna, Balrama and other cowherd boys went off to allow the cows to graze, the girls and ladies of the village would remain behind, left only to imagine how Krishna and the others were sporting so delightfully in the pasture and forests. They longed to see his face and his endearing movements, and because their hearts were so purified, their minds would soar to the place where Krishna was, no matter how far away he may be. They constantly experienced a strange sense of separation from Krishna burning within their hearts, and Krishna was always the center of their thoughts and feelings. This is a very profound point. It's called viraha. The pain of separation is so intense that you become the object of your desire. So the pain, the thinking, everything becomes Krishna, and that intensity of pain is called viraha, and that is a very profound process in Srimad Bhagavatam to enlighten our bhakti, devotion, to spark it. At the end of each day, when it was time for the boys to return home with the cows, the gopis waited with eager anticipation to see the dust of the cow hooves in the twilight. Then, when Krishna came within their view, just a little smile from him would thrill their hearts. Krishna was like the moon, removing all the sufferings and cares with just one cooling glance. As the scripture begins to introduce us to the unique affection of the gopis for Krishna, it is moving on gradually towards portraying the highest experience of divine love. Although the love of the gopis may appear to be uninitiated, to be like any passionate form of human love, it is rather a mystic representation of the unfoldment and full blossoming of parabhakti. Parabhakti, love where the heart melts and the soul communes with God. Love in which the soul within us has found its true beloved. So this is a very high form of love. It is not to be confused with passion and lustful thoughts. That is not what gopis are about. It is about the journey to the soul, the feeling, the divine feelings and communion. Like the gopis, an aspirant on the path of devotion begins to feel a unique restlessness, a longing that he didn't feel before. That strange sense of separation from God is a mark of spiritual progress. So as we progress, we continue to go higher and higher. When we begin to yearn for God within us, our heart is becoming purified. So that is your test. That is how you know when your anger is reducing and your love is increasing. All our vices are going down and our virtues are on the rise. And that is the journey we should continue to explore and deepen. The outpouring of song from the hearts of the gopis invites us to enjoy the melody of eternity that flows from Krishna's flute. Once that flute starts to play, everybody is intoxicated and mesmerized, as you will. That melody refers to the experience of divine communion deep within one's soul that unfolds during samadhi. So at that time when we meditate, we are able to connect with that higher energy. Although we may describe that experience as exquisite melody or mystic effulgence or divine nectar, it is an experience that transcends all sense perceptions. So our senses become like hay, straw, insignificant. The joys that you derive out of these sense objects becomes very, very immaterial compared to the vast expanse of bliss that you get from your communion with God. With that experience, the senses are not needed anymore. They have fulfilled their purpose. They have found their perpetual home. That unique mystic experience blossoms during the state of profound placidity that follows the unfoldment of Dharma Megha. Dharma Megha, clouds of virtue. In one's unconscious, deep within our unconscious, we need that nectarine shower. When the unconscious is flooded with Shubha Sanskaras or pure impressions, one discovers an inner peace that silences all noises of the world process and allows the melody of eternity to be heard in all its magnificence. So that is the joy of bhakti, the nectar of devotion, where the heart sings melodies and we forget about the world and we are in divine communion. In other words, we and Krishna have become one, or we and our Ishtadev, whoever that may be, have become one. And that is the true meaning of communion, to mingle, to become one. And that is the mystical meaning of Krishna's flute and the beautiful bhavana or feelings of the gopis. This is Swami Nikhilanand. We will continue this holy journey in tomorrow's satsang. Om Tat Sat.